Hello, it is me. If you were looking for a reaction to episode 208, a Warrior Nun, or a breakdown, or a screen comp, alas, that is not what I do here. Instead, you will get a lecture about the Book of Ruth because I'm obsessed with both the book and the TV show. Bear with me, and I think I shall take us on quite the fun ride. Let's begin. Look, said Naomi, your sister-in-law is going back to her people and her gods. Go back with her. But Ruth replied, don't urge me to leave you or turn back from you. Where you go, I will go, and where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God, my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. May the Lord deal with me, be it ever so severely, if even death separates you and me. I am coming to you from the land of the Ohlone peoples. There are several tribes therein. I won't necessarily go into too much detail because A, I don't know that much, and B, I don't want to dox myself. But with that being said, let's get into the preamble. Warrior Nun is a fun show currently hosted on Netflix streaming platform based on a graphic novel, Warrior Nun Arella by Ben Dunn. How would I describe Warrior Nun? It's a story about a secret order of nuns who are caught between interdimensional power grabs and fighting the corruption inside the church. The ensemble cast, both in character and out, are heartwarming, witty, and hardworking, which all serve to enhance what the show is at its core. And, at the heartbeat of the show, is an unlikely hero whose love for an unlikely woman demonstrates to the audience the beauty of a love which calls for us to join the elders past and present by striving to create a better world, to care for others, and to come home to yourself, in spite of systems and powers in place that make that very difficult, if not impossible. Plus, it has great action shots, and the cinematography is pretty magical, and the locations, chef's kiss. Flowers to all the cast and crew. It's truly a spectacle to behold. Season 1 first aired back in 2020, but due to the pandemic, like many other productions, Warrior Nun was also impacted and faced several obstacles for creating a show in that environment. So, we have Season 2 airing November 10th of 2022. Quite the wait. The show's renewal status is still in flux, and anecdotally, I have not seen a fan base move so quickly to promote a show on social media, especially Twitter, in a long time, especially given the limited availability of official promotion from sources such as Netflix. That being said, a quick moment of gratitude to the cast and crew, especially shout out to the showrunner Simon Barry, Christina Tonter-Young, and all the people who have worked together collectively to spend time with them and ask them questions and give us fans the ability to hear more about this show that we love. More could be said on the promotion of the show, but given my role as an audience member and as someone who does not work in the film/TV industry, I am not the one best equipped to speak more on this topic. What I can say is, I hope more people give Warrior Nun a chance. The story matters and it deserves to be told well. Hashtag Renew Warrior Nun with enough budget to pay people well for their work and give the story the best chance it has to tell the story it needs to be. All right, now let's get into the start of this movie. Ruth and Naomi and Beatrice and Ava, representation, theology, and why it matters. The why it matters part is hopefully mostly implied, but let me know if I need to explain more. This show is inextricably connected to the Catholic culture, imagery, and history, and by extension, Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, the three main Abrahamic faith traditions. This is where I enter the picture. So you may know a little bit more about me and understand the lens from which I view the world a bit better. So I'm a young engineer with a love for theology and a background in the Protestant Christian tradition. To that end, I must beg pardon of those who are followers of Judaism or Islam for any missteps that I make in this presentation. And also, I am LGBTQ+, and of Chinese descent. For the last two items, that is all I will say on the matter, and promise you that they will make a short return later on in this video. I'm not a professional theologian nor philosopher, and have not had any formal training in ancient biblical texts or history. It's merely a hobby and I will do my best to speak to areas of expertise or cite people who are much more learned than I am. Furthermore, I would urge you to take that which is beneficial to you and your own journey and unceremoniously dump the rest, paraphrasing from C.S. Lewis. This is extremely important to me, given how religion has been misused and caused so much harm to so many people, myself included. Though I cannot help but still be in love with the stories of the Christian faith tradition and still consider myself a person of faith. A quick note, I grew up in Oakland, California, and a lot of my vernacular is AAVE, or African American Vernacular English. So if that slips through, I hope I have done it with respect. Note to the folks who do not theologically affirm or say it with your chest that the rights and privileges of LGBTQ plus people in all aspects of life deserve to be protected and provided. Please know that on this detail, we must agree to disagree. Please feel free to pray for my eternal soul, and know that I have already been accused of blasphemy in the past, and if you feel the need to accuse me in the present day, I cannot stop you. I will allow myself this one moment of pettiness, modeling myself after one of J.R.R. Tolkien's commentary on his own work, and beg forgiveness in advance. Introduction being completed, I would like to open with a good word modeled after one of my many theological mentors, Judy Howard Peterson. I hope this offering by the workings of the Creator finds its way to the right people at the right time. All right. The Book of Ruth says gay rights. Spoilers ahead. Here be spoilers. This is your first and final warning. Click away now to watch the show and come back. 3, 2, 1. All right. So at the close of season 2, we get this exchange from Beatrice and Ava when the world is in a place of extreme peril. Our protagonists are running headlong from the fireplace into the frying pan and then into the fire. Because things change when you realize not everything is about you. I'm sorry, B. That's the warrior nun's job, right? They die so everyone else can live. Beatrice, Ava, don't. I'm doing this so that you can live your life, so live it. Beatrice, I won't. I can't. This leads to a kiss that was 2 seasons in the making, followed by a stunning hallway fight sequence as Beatrice races to prevent losing Ava. And because I am biased, I do believe this fight sequence is one of the best in TV and should go down in history. Furthermore, a quick note on the 2 seasons in the making. It is extremely rare for queer couples, for many reasons that I will not get into, to have a slow burn romance, friends to lovers, and it is spectacular, glorious, magnificent. All right, enter my love for the Book of Ruth. Ruth, within the Christian tradition, finds itself located simply in the Old Testament, before the time of Israel's kings. Ruth is a forerunner to Jesus himself, and one of only 4 women named in Jesus' genealogy. Say that 50 times fast. The 4 women are Tamar, Rahab, Ruth, and Mary. I would like to take a moment to put some respect on Bathsheba's name. While she is mentioned, she is not named. Moment of silence. Some important aspects unique to this show is much of the plot is driven by women, and the direct intervention of God is non-existent in this tale, which is unusual. In my opinion, it's a beautiful example of the co-creative process that we have with our Creator that is replicated in many other aspects in the Bible. But focusing on the setup to the scene, which parallels Warrior Nun Season 2, Episode 8 so well, shocking, I know, the ancient world is patriarchal, and women's access to goods and services were inextricably linked to their attachment to a man. This is what makes the premise of centering women in this story of Ruth as a pivotal moment in Israel's history, as well as Jesus' genealogy. But let's backtrack a little bit. Naomi and her husband and her 2 sons are forced to migrate from their Israelite community, a place called Bethlehem, or the House of Bread, because there is famine in the land. Famine, drought, or other natural disaster was often seen as a sign of loss of divine favor. In this context, it begs the question to the reader of what did Israel do to deserve such ill favor. Plus, the place known for bread with no bread is very suspicious, and the irony is not lost on me. I cannot answer to what the Israelites did to deserve this with any great certainty, and maybe the answer is simply that they overfarmed the land. But I bring this up to indicate that all was not right in the world at the start of the story, and that's important. Not only did they have to move due to the famine, they moved to a place and a people group who had historically been an enemy. There had been so much ill will and conflict that it was actually written into the law that no Ammonite or Moabite or any of their descendants may enter the assembly of the Lord, not even to the 10th generation, from Deuteronomy 23:3. And then scandal upon scandal. Not only were they included in the Moabite community, but Naomi's 2 sons married into this group, Ruth and Orpah, a big cultural side-eye. And then everything changed when not only did Naomi's husband die, but her 2 sons died as well. Now Naomi is in a foreign land with no formal access to goods and services and safety. The story implies also that she is too old to marry and have kids. She cannot produce in the way that their way of life had expected of her. So she is in grief, disgrace, and fears that she has become an economic and social liability. So to spare her daughters-in-law the burden, she plans to leave for her homeland as the famine has ended, but let Ruth and Orpah stay behind in the house of their mothers. A shocking centering of matriarchal lineage, as Austin Hartke, Old Testament scholar, notes. All eyebrows should be raised when something this rare happens. When she reveals her plan, they are inconsolable, and Orpah decides to stay. However, in the most queer-coded fashion I have ever seen, Ruth says the following: "Do not urge me to leave you or go back from you. Where you go, I will go, and where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God, my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. May the Jehovah deal with me, be it ever so severely, if even death separates you and me." And the word that she uses for God in this case, especially that last line, is one of the proper names of God that is written in a very special way. Little fun fact. Ruth forgoes financial stability, familial stability, and her people's faith, as well as her own personal safety, to accompany Naomi into the unknown. Yes, that is a Frozen reference. More importantly, during this, Ruth was described as clinging to Naomi. Ton Linafelt's commentary on the Book of Ruth notes that this word in particular is commonly used to describe ceremonies such as marriage, based on its similar use case in Genesis 2:24, where it states, "That is why a man leaves his father and his mother and is united to his wife, and they become one flesh." This act of love and solidarity with a woman who has not been taught to see her value apart from men by another woman is breathtaking. Yeah. If you think it's love, it is. Now here comes my responsibility and obligation to address the "they were just gals being pals" and "they were roommates," the historians wrote in the room. To this, I want to first say, given the context, it is extremely unlikely ancient Israelites would have been using the word lesbian or gay in the same way that we do today. As Old Testament scholar Austin Hartke mentions, sexuality as part of an individual's identity was just not there at the time. In other words, their culture and way of life is vastly different from our own today, and I think it would be disingenuous to ascribe too strongly our modern lens onto these people's lives. This, however, does not stop the importance of this story being representation in the Bible. One of the most poetic, show-stopping, breathtaking declarations of love in the face of great odds was by a woman to another woman in a story where they are the heroes. And as for me and my house, I see much needed representation in this story. And when you set this story in context of the constellation that is the whole Bible story, I think it is a strong component as to why I believe the Bible says gay rights and always has. All right, closing benediction. Thank you for your time. As a Chinese American queer person of faith, this show has been representation I just didn't know I needed. I will be extremely grieved if this show does not get a chance to continue. Having characters who look like me going through similar experiences, especially faith, deconstruction, and reconstruction stories, is not something I had in my bingo card, but I sure as hell needed it. I am just simply surprised by joy and wholly beholding the glory that is Beatrice and this show. I'm extremely grateful for KTY and the choice to cast her. Sister Beatrice as a character, the whole cast and crew who made this possible. I hope this presentation has brought you a modicum of joy and that it enriches your experience of the show, encourages you to watch the show, share it with friends and family, and put some salve on wounds left by the Big Seat Church described so eloquently by Sister Beatrice the Goat herself. When you are punished for just being different, you begin to hate what you are. And then, as a final-ish word, a note to my fellow fans on the interwebs. The fight is draining, friends. Hope is a choice and a discipline. Take care and bear the hope on the days that I cannot find it. And I shall do the same for you in return. 在今生和来世. All right. Okay. So that's over. Postscript time. I have a few other things to say, but it's not exactly super relevant, I guess, to the message of the story. When I first saw that scene, I immediately thought about Ruth and Naomi, and one of the few queer shows I think that I've encountered that, almost one for one fits so well with the story and the opening parallels. Close second would have been Haunting of Bly Manor, but the explicit religious overtones of the show just made it an even better fit. Anywho, next, I hope the lecture Talking Head is bearable. I am an engineer and an academic. I lack the time and energy to make things super entertaining. So thanks for sticking through it. Plus, the Book of Ruth gets considerably gayer and raunchier the more you read into it, and it's great. If I may be so bold to quote KTY, this story and life gets gayer as it goes on. If folks want to know more about the story, I definitely suggest listening to Austin Hartke's summary of the book listed below. He's been a great resource for me and my own journey through life, and I hope it brings you joy. Warrior Nun community, please save me. Come to my aid when I call. If I experience bad faith shenanigans from the Jesus Fandom, I really am putting myself on blast out here, and they already live rent-free in my mind. I do not need any new tenants. The Bible references are a new international version, which I think balances the poetry quite nicely while maintaining a level of comprehensibility instead of using big fancy words. But personally, my favorite is the Message with a sprinkling of King James for special use cases. And as a lover of learning and someone who is trying to put respect on the names of people who deserve it, give flowers while people yet live, and good scholarship cites its sources, I will do my best to link my sources in the description. But please bear with me. They may come staggered, as I feel like posting this video, getting it edited, all that stuff is of the essence. Furthermore, if there are any other references that you think I missed or are worthy of inclusion, please feel free to add them or let me know and I'll add them. It is my intention to be as transparent and respectful of other people's work. Furthermore, just keep boosting the show. We are in week 3. If not ending week 3, what is time? I've completely lost track of that. But kindly encourage people to watch the show, engage with it, have a good discussion, really consider some of the deeper questions that this show is trying to ask. Employ all the rhetoric skills. I believe in you. Also, lastly, feel free to snip this video, quote it, etc., share it into the interwebs. No credit on my name needed, just I'm just the messenger. And Nick, this is for you. Suara. That is probably very terrible Chinese. Nick, I'm sorry. My ancestors, I'm sorry. It's my second language. And yeah, in this life and the next, quantum living, baby. Let's go.